you want to make sure that you have that you feel that you're good at email marketing. Like if you're going to invest in growing your email list, like make sure that whoever is currently on your email list is like opening your emails and you have something, and then that may be a case where, copywriters will write your weekly email newsletters for you. If you need that, you can delegate that part. But for me, I like to write my own. I had some help writing the automated email sequence where people first get when they sign up. But you want to make sure that you've really gotten good at email marketing and that you can sell to people over email.
Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Christy Yoder, host of the Master Delegator podcast. The Master Delegator podcast is for busy and overwhelmed entrepreneurs who want to learn how to become effective in the area of delegation and learn how to hire great virtual assistants to help them scale their business and have more time and freedom. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and don't forget to click the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Alright, let's get started. Hey, in this episode, Delight Howley from Marketing with Delight is joining me today. Delight started doing an online gig work in 2008, opened an Etsy shop in 2011, and learned Facebook ads in 2016. With all these experiences, she still believes that growing your email list is one of the biggest keys to long term success for your business. She is a big fan of using social media, organic, and ads to grow your audience and believes that the next best step from social media is to send people to your lead magnet to grow your email list. That's why in today's episode, we talk about getting started with Facebook ads, when to delegate it, and a bit about building your email list. Hey, Delight, thanks for coming on the show with me today. Thanks for joining me. I'm so excited, to just get to know you better. And I'm so excited to talk about our topic for today, which is getting started with Facebook ads and when is the best time to delegate or outsource that to someone else. But before we dig deeper, why don't you tell us about yourself and what you do? I love your
Yeah,
lipsticks, by
so
the way.
oh, thanks.
It looks good on you.
I'm a Facebook ads specialist and online marketing too. I'm kind of looking at branching out a little bit beyond just Facebook ads. I've been kind of learning some new things, but Facebook ads is really my top expertise. And I started running ads in 2016. I was in a different niche where I was doing some courses about meditation and spirituality and things like that. And so 2016 was like the Wild West of Facebook ads. It was easier in a way because there was just less competition.
Yep.
But I figured it out and I got a lot of email subscribers from my list at that time. And a lot of people saw me running those ads. So then, like a year later, I was kind of like, feeling like maybe I want to teach someone else how to do this or like do it for other people. So I just started trying that out. And that was 5 years ago in 2017. So it's been 5 years running ads. I do mostly run, full delegated, like I do it all for my clients, but some people I also coach. So I'll meet with them for like a 4-hour setup call and then a couple of check-in calls after that to like tweak it as it runs. So yeah,
That's
that's
really awesome.
thanks for guess.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm sure. I'm 100% sure that Facebook ads, has changed for the last 5 years, especially with the recent update with iPhone iOS. So that made it a lot, I mean, at least for me, difficult to run ads on Facebook. But maybe you can talk more about that in a little bit. The tips and tricks you have in order to show your ads to your target audience, even with the restriction
Mhm.
of iPhone iOS. So let me take you back. 5 years ago, what were you doing? Were you employed in a corporate? Were you working 9 to 5, or were you an
No.
entrepreneur your entire life?
Yeah, I was an entrepreneur. I was doing I did a bunch of side hustles. I was a teacher before I quit that, and then I was doing the meditation, spiritual stuff. And that was kind of feeling like a slog. It was feeling like a struggle, like something was a little bit off with that. And so I was doing a lot of Lyft driving actually to just kind of like make it through until I, figured out what to do next. Yeah, I haven't had a 9 to 5 for a long time. And I've always found ways to make it work one way or another, like tutoring, Lyft driving. I have an Etsy shop, like a bunch of different
Wow. Do you still
things
have
kind of
your
cobbled
Etsy
together.
shop?
Hmm.
What do you have
Yeah,
there?
I actually have two. I opened a second one this year as well because I was like, this is really fun. Of all the things I've done, this is really fun. So I'm learning more about that and trying some new things. And
That's
yeah.
really awesome. And I think that's the entrepreneurial in you, right? Just figuring out, what to do and how to make it, how to survive without working 9 to
Hmm.
5. And even for me, I can't imagine myself going back, you know, to corporate and working from 8 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever time that is, and because I love the freedom and flexibility that I have right now, I'd rather, if I don't have my business right now, I would rather maybe, do Lyft driving or Uber driving as well, or deliver groceries to other people's houses, because you have more freedom, when you do that, as compared to like working inside a cubicle. So
Hmm.
let's talk about Facebook ads. So when, like, for instance, if I am a business owner and I don't have any idea how to get started with it, why should I
Hmm.
use Facebook ads? And what are the things that I need to prepare before I run my own Facebook ads?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's a good way to think about it. Like, what do I need to have in place before starting? So, the thing I always like to remind people is that Facebook ads or any ads won't fix anything that's not working. It will just amplify what's already happening. So, sometimes people come to me, they're like, my business is slow. I need to run Facebook ads. It's like, oh, like that's typically not going to help actually, like what's going to help is if you maybe there's something with the offer or there's something with the copy or something else is is if people aren't making the sales. So what you want to have in place is a proven concept, like a product or service that people like and will buy, and you want to make sure it's a high enough price point that you can fit the ad budget in and still make revenue on the other side. And then if you were to delegate it to someone like me, you have to accommodate for that person's fee as well. So I'd say you have to, like, if you're going to run it yourself, I guess I said this to you earlier, but um, I think you need to be honest with yourself about your skills and limitations, because I happen to be that person that is creative and also analytical, which is why this is a good fit for me. And
Yeah.
I like why I've stuck with it for 5 years when I kind of like bounced around from different things, because it's a good mix of both of those aspects. And so if you're a person like that and you're like open to learning some new tech stuff, like take a course and go for it. But if you know that you're not the person that likes numbers, or you're not the person that I guess if you're not a very creative person, you can hire out just that part. You could hire someone to make you a graphic and someone to write you some copy. So that's an option. But if you're not a techie number person, you're going to really struggle to run them yourself. So that's something I think to keep in mind. So you want to have your business successful, you're making money, you have a good price point of your product, and then you want to just be honest with your own skills and like, do you have time to do this? Because it takes a lot to set it up. It's not as much once it's running, but like I have a 50-point checklist or something to set up a new client's account. So
Wow.
yeah.
And what are, out of those 50-point checklist that you have, what are like the top 5 important elements of running a Facebook ad, if you can
Yeah,
remember?
so okay, I guess I'll talk about this. The strategy that I recommend for most people is to run ads that will build your email list. Because if you're investing in building your email list, that can pay you back for years and years to come until all those people were to unsubscribe, but probably they won't, if you're doing well with email marketing. Um, so that means that you need to have a landing page where people can opt in for your freebie, whatever that is, your lead magnet. And you need to have your Facebook tracking pixel installed. So that would be number one, landing page with a good opt in. Number two is the Facebook pixel installed to track the opt ins. And I'll get back to the iOS 14 thing in a minute. Then next is like you need to have a good idea about targeting and like who your audience is and how to reach them. Like I always guide clients to get really creative too. Like think about even like stores where they shop or,
Yeah.
books that they read, influencers they follow, all that kind of stuff. So that's helpful to target the right people. And then you want to have the creative side. You want to have, I usually will test several things at once. So I'll have a few static images, a couple of videos, and a couple different versions of the ad copy itself. So I think those are the really important pieces that need to come together. And then there's some techie stuff with the pixel and the business manager account and all of this kind of thing that
Yeah.
we usually have to like tidy up with new clients.
Yeah, those are really good. And you know what? Creating the landing page, um, connecting Facebook Pixel to your website, knowing who your target audience are, and making sure that you are you have them properly and correctly in your ads, and you are targeting them correctly and creating your assets, for the ad. Those things can take up so much time and energy, especially if you are not really good at it. And so that's why I like what you mentioned earlier, that if you are a creative person and you love analytics, this might be something that you want to do. But if you don't know Facebook at all, if you're not into social media, if you're not into creating creative assets and checking reports, data analytics, I don't think this is for you if you're not that type of person. But let's talk about the landing page now. When you say landing page, do you mean like a landing page, kind of like a sales funnel, or are you talking about a landing page kind of like the front end of your website? Because there are a lot of people that uses just their website, their main web page.
Yeah. So when I'm talking about doing ads to build your email list, typically that's a landing page, like a dedicated landing page. It doesn't look like your normal website. It's shorter. It's just one page. Like people can either close it or they can opt in. There's no navigation at the top for them to go to like about me and my blog and all, like that's not there. And so it's all, and the page is just dedicated to that free lead magnet. Maybe it's an ebook or an audio or a video, whatever it is, it's describing it. You've got to have a really intriguing title that's going to resonate with your ideal client, a little tagline. I've had really good success. I have two different ones I've created running right now, and both are converting over 50%, which is good for a landing page. Like the industry standard is 20%. So they're doing really well. And one is a 3-scroll page. So there's like 3 sections, and one is a 1-scroll page. So it's just one section. So they can work both ways. But I think that's really key. I think if you run Facebook ads to your just entire website in general, which I've had a lot of people, I'm like, what's your landing page? And they're like, and they just send me their homepage of their website. And I'm like, but like people, you need to guide people.
It's
Like
very
there's,
distracting.
they're all, yeah, people are so distracted on social media, so you don't want to like drop the ball, where because that, like, by the time your website loads 3 seconds later, they're like, why was I here, close out. So you want to make sure that you have that title at the top of the page, and you like remind them like, why am I here, what am I doing.
That makes sense. Yeah. And so, do you have like a favorite landing page tool or platform, kind of like ClickFunnels, that you use?
Yes, I like lead pages. I
Lead
have had
pages.
the
Okay.
best results with clients using lead pages. And So I will build those for my clients. I haven't totally converted, but I almost want to tell my clients, like, you need to use lead pages or this isn't going to work out, because it's
Yeah,
just like, that's partly lead pages. The tool itself is partly why the pages I've created have converted so well, because it loads really fast and it's mobile friendly. So it's good for people coming from social media on their phone or their tablet or whatever. It's responsive to all those different things. And the loading fast, like I said, is important because of the distraction piece. So I really like it, and it's done great for my business and my clients.
that's really good. And I totally agree with you that if you want to set up a Facebook ad, um, you might want to try lead magnet first, having a lead magnet in your ad, because they're getting value from you in return of giving their email address. And when you have their email address, you have that forever. So when Instagram, Facebook shuts down, you have their email address,
Yeah.
and you can nurture what am I saying, you can nurture them from within your email marketing platform. So I think, and that's a different strategy, and so okay, so if you're successful with your lead magnet ad, that means you're going to have a lot of email address, but you don't just stop there. You have to make sure that you nurture those leads that you got from Facebook ad. Now, do you also help
Yeah.
your clients with that, or do you just tell them, hey, now that you have these email addresses, you should do this, blah blah blah, or do they just consult with you?
So I have worked with a copywriter for some clients that needed an email. I've written a few email sequences for clients, and for me, I was like, I think they turned out pretty good, but it was hard for me. It was like slogging. Like, whenever I've done like freelance writing, it's hard for me to write for other people. So I have done that, where I've connected clients with a really good copywriter to write just that automated email sequence that will go out, that's set up to go out over, like, let's say it's 6 emails in 2 weeks or something, or I guess we've been doing 8 pretty often, emails over like
Mm,
2.5 weeks, something like that. So yeah, I think she's done great. She wrote an email sequence for me too, because sometimes it's hard. I was going to mention this earlier. It's hard to do it for yourself
it
too.
is, yeah.
And I've talked to colleagues where they're like, I'm going to start running my own Facebook ads. And then the next week I talk to them, they're like, I haven't done it. It's really hard. I'm stuck. So it's kind of nice to have that outside person, like, moving you forward
That's
through
true.
it. So
Yeah, it's just also knowing your strengths and weaknesses as well. So you don't want to, pretend that you can do something where, as a matter of fact, you don't know it and you don't enjoy doing it. So might as well stick to your zone of genius.
Are you sick and tired of being overwhelmed and afraid you'll never scale your business? Meet Smart VAs. Unlike many virtual assistant agencies that only assign one dedicated virtual assistant, we provide flexibility for growing businesses by assigning a team of experienced virtual assistants that can do different tasks to support your continuous growth. Visit smartvas.online to book a free discovery call and start growing your business.
So
mhm.
I know we kind of touch a bit about this, but when do you think is the best time to delegate? And when you delegate Facebook ads, what are the things that you need to prepare?
Yeah. Well, I would say one thing is that email marketing piece. You want to make sure that you have, like, that you feel that you're good at email marketing. Like, if you're going to invest in growing your email list, like, make sure that whoever is currently on your email list is like opening your emails and you have something, and then that may be a case where, copywriters will write your weekly email newsletters for you. If you need that, you can delegate that part. But for me, I like to write my own. I had some help writing the automated email sequence where people first get when they sign up. But um, you want to make sure that you've really gotten good at email marketing and that you can sell to people over email, that
Hmm.
you get people to click your email to book a call with you or buy your product or your course or whatever you're selling. Because if you don't, so that's part of having a proven concept for the whole thing to work. Because if that part's broken, it's like a bucket,
It's
with the
yeah, it's
hole
all
and it's like
connected
leaking
together.
out. If you're getting new people coming to your email list, but you're not emailing them regularly, or you don't have a compelling, like you're not a good writer, you don't have good subject lines and good copy, then you're not able to really nurture those people to become clients and customers. So I'd say that's a really important thing to have in place. And I think people might be like, but how am I supposed to get people on my email list if I don't run ads? I don't have anybody to email to like get good at emailing, um, and I think that's gotten a bit harder for me personally um, since I've been in online business. Like growing an email list organically has gotten a bit harder. I used to do really well with Facebook groups, and I think that's still a good place. Some free Facebook groups will allow you to post promos on certain days, and you can share the link to your lead magnet and all that kind of thing. That hasn't worked as well for me personally lately, and I don't know. I haven't really talked to anyone else about that. I don't know if it's just me or what, but
I have a
yeah.
VA who does that for me, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I think I'm
Mhm.
50-50 on that.
And like I used to say that too. Some posts do nothing. Some posts get some comments and engagement and clicks and signups. And lately it's just been like nothing does anything ever. Like
Yeah,
I've been kind of struggling to be motivated to post, and that was my bread and butter for a long time. Sorry, I'm getting off topic of Facebook ads,
you're
but
fine.
Facebook groups were like the best place to network and connect and build my list organically. And I don't know why, but lately I almost wondered if I got shadow banned on Facebook with my account somehow. Like nobody's seeing anything I post ever. That's what it
Wow.
feels like sometimes.
How
But
many
I
do you
think
have
there's
in
also
there?
less people spending time in Facebook because a lot of people are going to TikTok and even Instagram with reels and
That's a
stuff.
good
So that
perspective.
I think that could be a big part of it, in which case it's bigger than it's not just me,
Yeah. How many members do you have in your group?
In my group, like 350, something
That's a
like
lot.
that.
Yeah. I have
Yeah.
actually just
And
started my Facebook group as well, and I don't have more than 50 yet, but I started it 2 months ago. Well, this is
mhm.
probably the best time to promote my Facebook group. If you're listening to this
Yeah,
podcast, visit Master Delegator group community on Facebook and join my group and join Delight's group as well. What's your Facebook group name?
it's called Heart Centered Facebook Ads for Coaches.
I love that.
So that's typically my main clientele is folks who are doing coaching and courses. So
hmm
So that is the group, and like I said, I've been a little bit of a slacker in there lately, but there's a lot of good stuff that already exists in there
Yeah.
that I've put up over the years. Um, and I wanted to mention about the iOS updates and stuff
hmm
with Facebook. Uh, like one thing hasn't changed actually since 20 when I started in 2016, and that's wanting to set up a campaign for conversions to grow your email list, like we talked about. That's how I started, and I had success, and that's still what I recommend to do now. It's just that the steps you need to take, there's more because they've added and added and added to it. So last year Apple changed iOS to allow people to opt out of tracking from apps like Facebook and all of this stuff. And a lot of Facebook users use iPhones and iPads
Yeah.
and all of this. And I don't know that they know for sure, but I did hear that like 90% of people opted out of the tracking.
I'm actually I'm actually one of them, and then when I opted out, I felt guilty because I was like, I'm doing marketing on Facebook. I shouldn't do this, because
Yeah, I
nobody
know.
wants to
It's kind
see
of
to see
a
ads.
so the thing is it's not really as bleak as it sounds, because Facebook still, well, there's all the Android users and maybe they'll have a privacy thing happen too. But so it used to be easier to build like a website based on people, or an audience based on people who visit your website. Now it's harder because all these people who are on mobile and stuff have said, no, don't track me. So it's hard to tell if they're on your website. However, Facebook has gotten around this some way or other fairly well,
Mm-hmm.
because I think they do something called aggregated events. So they're not really getting like as much like personal information, or this person opted in. It's more like somebody opted in and three people, 5, 10, whatever people opted in. So like my reports, because Facebook will tell you how it's tracking, your opt-ins, and my reports are not that, they're not 90% off of, because I can go in the back end of the website and check like the true number of names, that have come in the last week or whatever. And it's not as bad as you think, but I change that in my system where I'll go check people's website to see the opt-ins instead of just going on what's in the Facebook ads manager, because it's just not as accurate.
Yeah, I have not heard of that. I have not heard of the aggregated event, but that's probably something I can look into as well. Well, thank you for sharing those valuable insights. So, if I am a business owner and I want to delegate to you, for instance, if I'm like, hey, Delight, I hate Facebook ads, like I can't get it to work. So, what are the things that you would ask for me?
It will depend. Like, with a lot of clients, I'll kind of negotiate. Like, do you want to make the landing page, or do you already have a landing page that converts, and I'll just take it and run an ad to it, or do you want me to make you a landing page and lead pages so that we can, get a really good conversion rate? So those kinds of things will, and then we'll talk about like, well, who's going to make the graphic and who's going to make the video and who's going to write the copy, because some clients, they just want to give it all, they want to make it all and
Oh
give it all
yeah,
to me to do the tech stuff. So I'll do that. And then for people who want help with making the copy, we'll kind of work together on the copy, and I can make graphics, things like that. Um, so
oh
that
my
kind of
gosh,
stuff.
can
And
you
then
hear the
I'll get,
thunder? I think it's gonna start to storm here
oh,
anytime soon.
oh, okay.
I don't know if the recording was able to catch that, but it's pretty loud. But anyway, sorry to
Oh,
interrupt you. It was
no,
really
that's
loud here.
okay. Yeah, so those are kind of, the main like creative things that need to happen. And I just collaborate with clients on how they want to do those pieces. And then, you have to give me access to your business manager account so I can get into the ad account and do that, and make sure the pixels on your website. And then do this, like I was mentioning, this event configuration stuff that's new this, in the last year because of the iOS 14 stuff. So that's a basic kind of setup. And a lot of times sometimes clients will have to share, passwords with me and stuff through LastPass so that I can just take care of getting. Oh, the other thing that's newer that I didn't have to do 5 years ago is called domain verification.
Oh yeah.
So when you're
Hmm.
running this type of list building ad, that's another extra step to take. And I thought it was really hard the first time I did it, and now it's like so easy. So that's one thing where I'm like, I think it's harder for folks to do it themselves because there's all these extra steps now with the event deal and the domain verification and all of these things. It's like if you've never done it before, it's kind of like overwhelming. But if you do it, you know, all the time, it's no
It's
big
easy
deal.
peasy for you, yeah. And there's a lot of business owners who are not tech savvy, or social media savvy, especially like most of the time coaches. I mean, I'm not downplaying them or anything, but most of the time they're just because they're focused on their personal growth and personal growth and professional growth of their clients, so they don't really have time to work on these ads. So
Hmm.
they'd rather delegate this to someone else. Now, when you work with your clients, do they work for you long term or short term?
Typically, we'll start with a 3-month contract to make sure that we have time to run the ads long enough for them to see the results and decide if they want to continue. So I'll have some people say they want to take a pause after 3 months, or they want to, sometimes they'll pause and come back. Sometimes they're like, oh, 3 months, I'm good. And then sometimes they want to keep going. Like I just had somebody renew for their through 9 months now. So, it can kind of go either way, but I like to have that agreement to start as a 3-month starting
Yeah,
time to give, because it takes a while to get the ads like dialed in.
And even the
to where
relationship that
they're
you need to build together, you need to also like find that rhythm to work together. And because that's also the same with my agency, we tell our clients that we have a 3-month minimum contract, but we're not very strict with that. If they don't like us, they can cancel their
yeah.
subscription anytime. But as much as possible, we want to work with them for 3 months, because that's like a reasonable time for us to gauge whether it's a success or not. So, I heard that you hired your first team member last fall. Tell me about your experience. Like, why did you decide to hire a team member, and how was your experience? Looking for a team member, hiring them, making sure that they're the right fit for your business.
Yeah, that was well, that was partly because my husband and I want to start a family, and I was like, how am I going to do maternity leave ever with because I was just me, as a solopreneur. And then I have these 3-month contracts. And so it's like for 3 months before I have the baby, I can't have any clients, And so I was like, how am I going to do this? I was like, I got to change something with my business. And I was talking to my sister-in-law about it. And she kind of mentioned, because she's a stay-at-home mom, but she's done, some things, some marketing and stuff on the side. And her youngest was going into kindergartens, and so she's had more free time, and she's like, well, maybe I could help you out. So that was how it happened, is that she kind of brought it up, and then I thought about it. I was like, no, I think she's got that too. She's got the detail oriented, she's got the creative side, and she did really, really well with it. So that it was a really good experience. And we had the conversation, like working with family. I told her, like, if you don't like doing this, if you don't like working with me, if you don't like the work, just tell me. It'll be fine. Like, it's more important for us to have a good family relationship than for you to
Yeah.
work with me. So that's gone really well. And I feel very fortunate because I've heard a lot of rough stories about delegating and getting, someone to help you out with things. So
Yeah.
it's nice to find someone who's very on top of it.
Yeah. So what have you learned so far in terms of delegation? Like I'm sure you delegated to her, you've taught her how to do stuff. So what have you learned so far?
I think it helped me, when she started, I got better at writing. Like, I talked about my 50-step checklist. I fleshed that out even more so that she could follow the same checklist, because I had it for myself just so that I didn't have to remember everything. I didn't want to forget anything. And
Mm-hmm.
so then I added some more detail to it for her to try to have, so I created some documents like that to try to help guide her on how to do things and step by step and all of that. So that was helpful. And that was just good for me to have. And now I can give that checklist, like, to coaching clients potentially, if I'm coaching someone else to do their own ads. That's just a good thing to create. So having that, I guess you would call it an SOP,
Yeah.
which I never really loved that term for some reason. It
Because
sounds
it's
too
very
corporate, I
corporate.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a really helpful thing. And then just, communicating, checking in, trying to be as clear as possible with expectations, as far as, like, on Fridays is when we send our clients the report from what happened in the last 7 days, and, you know, but like I said, we already had a good relationship, and she's somebody that I knew and I trusted already. And so that helped.
That's good. And did that help you have more freedom and flexibility in your personal life and, business or professional life, hiring somebody to help you in your business?
Yeah, it did. Um, it was kind of a crazy year, so it's kind of hard to answer that, because from the time before she started working with me to the time after, like, a lot of things in my personal life changed too. So it's kind of like, did it change? I think it gave me, yeah, it definitely, I noticed that I didn't have to write 8 client reports every Friday. I only had to write 4 or whatever it was. That was nice for sure. Like, my Fridays felt a lot lighter and freer. um and yeah, it was nice having a team member too. When you've been working alone for years, it's like nice to have someone to bounce things off of. So I enjoyed that about it for sure. And like I said, she caught on to it. so quickly, and she's really good. So
That's really good. Awesome. Well, congratulations for, adding another team member to your business, and I feel like it's just the start, I feel like now that you have somebody helping you in the business, you're going to get used to it more and more, and once you've learned how to delegate well, you're going to get used to it and you're going to get addicted to it. You are just going to want to hire somebody else to delegate your other tasks to, especially when
yeah,
you start your own family. We don't have My husband and I, we don't have kids yet as of the moment, but I'm sort of kind of preparing myself for that already, for when that time happens, because it's another
yeah,
challenge. Right now we rarely cook food for lunch anymore, because we just get um like those pre-prepared meal for you, so you just put it in the microwave, and then after 2 minutes it's done, you just eat it. So those are some of the things that I do in order to have more time for myself and for my business as well. And we rarely do our groceries as well. We have it ordered online. So, you know, I don't know what else we can delegate to somebody else here at our house. But I heard some people, they don't do their laundry as well, because they hate folding clothes. So they just have somebody pick up their dirty clothes, and then they will deliver it to their house once it's done, and it's folded. So you don't have to
wow.
do the work. So I think those are the things that, if you want to have more time in your business, those things that you want to delegate, from within your house, you also need to take that into consideration when you do your pricing for your services. If that makes sense. So you'd be able
Hmm.
to do those things as well. Yeah, but I'm glad that you've hired, a team member, and that you trust each other, and that's she's helping you grow your business even more. So what do you do now in order to make sure that you are updated with all the trends you know that are happening online, especially with Facebook ads?
Yeah, there's always new things coming out. Like right now, it's the Instagram Reels, and trying to figure out what to do with that, because they just put the ads. They just allowed us to put ads in them in the inside the Reels feed in the last few months. I think it was this year, 2022. So yeah, trying to figure out that, like, what's going to be a successful, creative. What does a video need to look like to get results? So we're still playing with that for sure.
I'm super excited about that, actually. I feel like this is the best time right now to utilize that change, because a lot of people are gonna hop onto that. So I feel like, since we already know these updates, we should take advantage of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on my short video game. I've been trying out Reels myself and TikTok a little bit, and idea pins. So there's so many now. There's YouTube Shorts, idea pins,
There's so
Instagram
many,
Reels,
yeah.
TikTok. Yeah.
There's a lot. And if you're the type of a business owner who's really not into social media, I'd rather have you delegate that to somebody else than fake it until you make it, because you're not gonna make it. You might make it, but you're gonna be stressed and overwhelmed. So just have somebody else do it for you, like Delight. Like, she's good in Facebook ads and social media. Again, it's just knowing what you can and what you cannot do. And at the end of the day, it's all about what makes your business succeed, what makes your business grow even more. It's not about you. It's not about you trying to do everything. It's about, what you can do to achieve your goals. So, yeah. So where can people find you online, Delight?
My website is marketingwithdelight.com, and my Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok and everything is Marketing with Delight. Also, my Etsy shop, I have templates actually for Instagram Reels in particular. Speaking of that have been selling pretty well lately. So they just give you some basic like animation so that you can post your content as a reel so you can reach more people. So I have some of that on my Etsy shop, also called Marketing with Delight.
Wow, I will check that out. Like I said, I love what you are doing online. You have such a great presence on Instagram, and what you have on Instagram speaks for what you do for your client as well, because your Instagram is kind of like your social proof. That's where people can find credibility, and they can see that, oh, Delight is really good at creating social media posts, and I love what you are doing in there. Well, thank you so much, Delight, for joining
Thank
me
you for
today.
having
I
me.
appreciate it. I love all the things you shared, very insightful, and I'm pretty sure that our listeners are getting a lot of value from you as well. Thank you.
Awesome.